moving along, our next defer is Chris O'Keefe. One of the things I love about coming to this conference is you meet people that make you feel like that you're not doing enough with your life, and always motivates you to do more. Chris is one of those examples of people who have a day job and also run a business on their private time and a night job as well. So Chris.
So thanks for being here with me today. My name is Lieutenant Chris O'Keefe. I serve as an assistant to the Director of Warfare Integration at the Pentagon and the Navy staff. We buy the ships, we buy the guns, we buy the planes. And I'm going to anchor on Kristen's incredibly inspirational talk for a second, because we are all come here to be inspired. We all come here to share. We all come here because we really give a damn about the future of this country, and we think that we can make a difference by pushing the Department of Defense to be better. And I have the unique opportunity and pleasure to be married to an active duty female officer in the Navy. So you get the lesser of the two O'Keefes today. She's the speechwriter to the Chief of Naval Operations. In addition, she has 3 active duty sisters who are all serving the Navy. They've flown missions across Syria. They have sailed ships through the Gulf, and 2 of them are fluent in Chinese. So Kristen's talk was uniquely personal for me and uniquely inspiring. So I'm going to give another round for Kristen, because that was amazing. So we come here today because we're talking about innovation. I think in the past, innovation was just process improvement, but in the future, the system may no longer work. So we're here to learn and talk about how do we think differently in the Department of Defense. And my background is that, in addition to my day job, my wife and I have been lucky enough to found a couple of companies. We have an investment firm, we have a couple of consulting firms, tech development work. And I'd like to share with you our systems, how we operate, and maybe give you a framework to move forward, because I think it's helpful to have a start and understand, well, where do I begin? All of our companies and all of our day-to-day operations are given from a very specific lens. We call it a 200-year family approach. So there's a lot of nuances in there that I'd love to share with you throughout the weekend. So come talk to me. I'd love to kind of have a conversation. So how do you do innovation? So the important thing is that there is a process. And you should look around you and understand that everything is a system. And I think as we look around the amazing people in this room, you're surrounded by resources. I mean, this is an amazing, amazing, amazing compendium of resources. I mean, Kristen, some of my mentors, Jason Knutson is the one that introduced me to some of the projects I'm with now. Fred Rainbow, sitting in the back, is the editor of the Naval Institute magazine that helped me publish my first article. Roger Misso is one of my inspirations in writing. I look around here, I'm inspired by resources and people. So we gotta capitalize on that. So how do you capitalize on that? Einstein had a lot of great quotes. So, he talks about admiring, he said, study the problems, all these amazing quotes. One of my favorite Einstein quotes is he talks about compound interest as the 8th wonder of the world. And, he says that those who understand it receive compound interest, and those who don't understand it pay compound interest. So I would encourage us to take that to heart and think about compounding our resources, not just monetarily as entrepreneurs, but the resources around us here, I think, are really important. So with that in mind, I'd like to kick that process off with you and get it right away. And raise your hand if you have a board of directors. Okay, a couple. Now, raise your hand if you have a personal board of directors. I said 3 people, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to go with 90% of those in the room don't have a personal board of directors. Now, like I said, you already have the second best O'Keefe in front of you, so I apologize, I'm not gonna, but I will offer to be your first unpaid member of your personal board of directors. So that's my contact information. Until you can level up to the real O'Keefes and the better ones, I'll at least start you there, because there's a lot of smart people out there, and I think I would encourage all of us, and Ryan mentioned in his talk, seek those people out there. So you're gonna seek them out and learn from them. So your first system should be always looking for people who can help teach you more things. To systemize innovation, though, I think I'm going to just cut, there's 4 words. The view, market selection, and there's management, and there's exit strategy. And if you just have these four phases in mind, I think it'll give you a place to start in innovation that will keep you grounded and give you success in both the entrepreneur world of the Department of Defense, where we're trying to do new things and change behavior and culture, and in the entrepreneurial world where we're trying to make money and maybe do some social good along the way. My personal job at the Department of Defense and the Navy is to stand up a new accelerator for acquisition, buy stuff faster. I have no idea how I'm going to do that yet. And I hope to talk to some of you this weekend, including DIUX and DDS, to get some help with that. But the way you start out is with your view, and you got to understand, well, how do I view the world? And, well, this is a tough conversation. There's a lot of smart people out there. Well, just talk to people. There's a lot of ways to learn. Read. Do some writing so that people can inform you. But you got to have a view. You got to understand how you view the world. You have to document, think about it, because otherwise you're just kind of operating in free space with no sort of frame of reference. So you need to build your frame of reference, and I think that's hugely important. Then you need to have a way to figure out your market. So now that you understand, okay, here's where I am in the world, here's my organization, here's my, what can I change? What are my skill sets? What can I do to maybe, where can I make a difference? In my personal life, in our real estate company, markets, we identify markets by trends and zip codes. We look at a lot of data. We use existing research. People are always thinking about things, so we look up and we say, well, who's thinking about this stuff? From a real estate perspective, we have to figure out geographic locations. One of our favorite tools that was not, I didn't figure out, my father-in-law taught me, was United Van Lines survey. So United Van Lines, big moving company, really, really important. They do a lot of good stuff. They have a survey which counts how many people come in and out of the state every year. That's a great real estate indicator. So select your market, do your research, understand the global trends. And there's a lot of more resources out there. And you can just talk to anybody that's folks in this room. Depending on your sector, there's resources. Go find those. Management. Once you've identified your market, once you figure this out, all right, this is it. You got to have a plan. And you got to be able to execute it. And then you got to be able to manage it. And this is where I think innovation and our stuff starts to break down, because we get bogged down in the day-to-day life. We don't have a system for managing the daily emails. We don't have a system. And when I mean system, I don't just mean there's a tech solution for everything. There's a lot of great tech solutions, believe me, but a system can be as easy as a piece of 5x8 paper which you follow the same steps every day. But you can check that, and then you can improve it. An example of this from O'Keefe Realty is we realized that we're both active duty officers, and we can't hope, and we have holdings in 3 different states. We couldn't hope to possibly manage that in person all the time. So we realized our entire company to be cloud-based. So what we did was we said, let's do this. We did a bunch of research on software as a service, identified everything from accounting to property management. We actually couldn't find a good property management tool for our portfolio. We didn't like it. I'm a nerd. I just didn't like the features. It looked bad. So we decided to build our own. Well, that was interesting. So as soon as we started having a systems approach and we started to build our own, we realized, wait, this system's pretty good. Well, what else could we build? We wound up starting a software development company. Oh, by the way, now there was some code. So we have a no-code software development company. We now have hired coders to come help do us big things, but we were using no-code tools and then started selling this to other people. Wow, it's amazing. Well, then we're like, oh. So then some other companies saw this. They're like, oh, we like those software tools. Could you show us how to do this? Well, all of a sudden, the system led to a business process consulting arm. This is amazing. This is crazy. So we started out as a real estate development firm that just because we put systems in place actually led to 2 new business models. So really important stuff to have your systems, because what you can actually do is once you have systems, you can analyze how you're doing. You can look at your metrics. You can say, hey, am I making money? Am I doing good? How do I know if I'm doing good? What's the benchmarks? Oftentimes we don't know if we're doing well. I pick on my friends a lot because they're like, I bought a house, it's awesome. The mortgage pays the rent. I'm like, well, are you making money? Well, yeah, the mortgage pays my rent. Well, are you making money? I don't know. How do I know if I'm making money? So all right, well, here's your system of how to tell. So management systems, incredibly important. And I can talk about these over the next day and a half with you. I'd love to share. I'd love to learn from you. So then ultimately, though, once you have system and you have metrics, you got to get out. The most important thing of all this innovation stuff is getting out. So what does getting out and moving on mean? Well, in the entrepreneurial world, it means you have you made money. Well, how do you know how much money do you need to make? Well, that's a conversation. That goes all the way back to your view. How do you view the world? How much time you have left in the search. These are all very important considerations, but if you have systems, then you know when to get out. What does exiting mean in entrepreneurship? Well, it means passing on. It means transitioning from the original deaf founders to the next generation. And I'm going to leave you with, I think, the final point I will leave you with is that successful exiting in an entrepreneurship model or an entrepreneurship model means you've passed on something to someone. And to do that, you need to remove yourself, your ego, from the equation ultimately. And you need to start get back to the group, to the bigger view, and get someone else to take ownership of it. And this is what I think what DEF has done tremendously is that there's now a whole new generation of folks who have taken ownership of it, who feel like they want to be here. And my wife and I got to see this in our own life in a very small way. We started a little discussion group at the Naval Academy. And what it allowed us to do was get midshipmen at the Naval Academy talking with senior leaders, and it was in a living room. It was very small and informal. And it went on for 2 years and started to grow. Well, then we got transferred and we moved on, and I heard someone talking about a couple months ago, and they said, hey, they were in a speech or a group of gathering, they said, yeah, I started this little group. And Ashley and I looked at each other like, oh, we started that. But then we realized, we've won. They have taken ownership of this. They have moved on, and they are running with it. And if we had made it all about us and made it all about just us and not looking into the exit strategy to the next generation, passing on skill sets, never would have worked. But and we realized, well, that's it. So regardless whether it's entrepreneurship, where you're saying, okay, I've made enough money, it's time to go on and enjoy my life, otherwise I'm just having a bunch of money and nothing to show for it, or it's entrepreneurship where it's setting up the next generation to carry on your reforms, your changes in your organization. I would encourage you, the final most important thing to do in your view, market, management, exit strategy framework is to really think about this portion, because we tend to forget this and things tend to die pretty easily. I'll take any questions. Sir?
Two quick questions. One, how would you contrast the board of directors model with just mentorship more generally, as is commonly understood? And two, I saw that you're doing a design event at the Pentagon or something on the wall over there.
Yes.
Could you talk briefly about that?
Absolutely. So board of directors versus mentorship. So a personal board of directors is so a mentor is usually a single person. So a personal board of directors can be easy as a group of mentors. But what's also gets really interesting is you start to share, if you maybe get two of them on a phone call together, and then they can share insights. So functioning as a board as opposed to an individual mentor, that starts to really get powerful. And then the second point, I believe one of my passions in the Navy is design thinking and bringing design, human-centered design into the force, inspired by many other DEF members in here, including Josh Marcuse and Jason Knutz and others. So once again, my own personal board of directors has kind of been active in my life. But it's a passion of mine. And what I realized is if I just tried to advocate on my own to bring design in, it would die with me. I'd get out of the Navy next year. So the idea of creating a design event to sort of bring together a shared community of practice, to sort of share insights and learn who's doing what in the design community, evolved. So this first effort is going to take place in November. We think the week of the 7th to 11th in DC is going to be an effort to bring together Navy, but now having a lot of requests to bring in the DoD as well. Bigger picture, so I think we're going to try to run with that and just share practice and understand, okay, how do we build a sustainable design community of practice inside the Department of Defense, particularly Navy Department of Defense. So I'd love to talk more about that as well. Anything else? Thanks for your time, I appreciate it.